Hello, I'm Brianna. Welcome to My Life on Paper, where paper and pictures tell my story. And today is making January base pages. Usually I'm trying to do these on Tuesdays. I am a couple days late, as you can tell. But here is and I think this is Doodlebug, if I'm not mistaken, right? Not that one. That one actually comes from a different paper pad. But I thought I would make a winter page. I do have some pictures in mind for this. Um, they are from a year ago, New Year's Eve, when we were in Chicago. And so I'm not afraid of the snowman that you'll see coming up in a little bit, but these are the pieces I have left. So right now I'm just kind of trimming them down, thinking of what kind of configuration I might have once I get them smaller. And I was actually thinking of using the stripes. Um, e- so they could be used on kind of any page, but look at that. Boy, that's a lot going on there. So I like a lot more the snowman. And you know what? Oh, here, these are from close to Creative Memories, and I was thinking about using those. They didn't have any that were too the same, and I was looking for more of a photo mat. So what you see there is some just scrap paper I had. I cut it into kind of a placeholder for my pictures. So thinking of I'll have two 4x6 pictures sitting horizontally, and then I will glue this down when it comes time so that I remember kind of placement. That helps me. I do have a title, and that title is actually from a different paper pack. And now I'm looking for something that I could frame it with to make it stand out more. So I am going to cut out that little log cabin there in the mountains. I think that's pretty safe because I don't believe I would be using the mountains in the log cabin on another page. But it does have that nice kind of tealy border that I'm looking for. And so then I will, once I get this trimmed up, I will go into, no, I'll take the title, Snow is Falling All Around, and I'm going to trim that down just a little bit so that you can see that nice border around it. I am using my Tim Holtz serrated uh, scissors that I just love, love, love. Um, I've gone through a lot of scissors in my last 20, almost 25 years of scrapbooking now. 24, 24, uh, almost 25. And these are by far the favorite scissors I've ever had. So I will glue those together, and then I'm going to try to figure out where to put it. Now you've seen it also that I got those snowflake paper. I just had a little bit of it left, so I cut it in half there, and I have half going um, by that plaid there, half to the left, half to the right. And I'm thinking about putting it on top of the snowman, but then you can't really see many of the snowman. So eventually I do decide it's going to come down a little bit. And I think I might oh, this is where I go into, I'm going to pull out my stamps. And then this is a Sizzix stamp. It's a snowflake. Now, I don't know on base pages if you usually stamp. The base pages I haven't. It's been more of a quick thing, so I don't stamp. But this was something where, because I'm layering all these papers on, I did, and I knew I wanted the snowflakes for the background page, that I'm going to go ahead and do it right now. So this takes me a little bit more time than normally you would use to put a base page together. Now, the last time I used these Sizzix stamps, I didn't realize they were layering. You could use them without layering, but it's kind of a cool look to layer them. So I've got two different colors from Close to My Heart. They're um, the old style ink pads. And I'm going to layer the darker on top of the lighter. And there's quite a few of these, and I'll just kind of randomly do the different styles. The colors of the inks are Ocean and Breeze, if that tells, I'm sure that tells some of you how old these stamp pads are. I will also stamp on the left side, but I'm not worried about the two-tone colors because they're just going to be a little bit peeking out. So I'm just going to take, I think it's the lighter color, to do all the stamps on the left-hand side before I put the papers on top. And there you can see, it looks like the darker color actually. And there, I'll put the plaid down. And I do have that gap there where there's no snowflakes, but I do have my photos and the cross part. It's kind of like an L design, I think. Um, so when I put the other piece of paper across, oh, and the borders as well, does a nice little bit of cover up where I don't have any stamps. So I'll get that adhered with my ATG adhesive. Um, First the plaid and then the cross part, the lower part of the L, I guess you would call it. There are 4 Tuesdays in January, and so I am doing 4 layouts or 4 base pages. And then after that, each Tuesday, I will do a base page a Tuesday, which means today I will also have up, actually, it's this finished base page. So the process video on that. At the end of the video, you'll see all of the base pages I made except this one because I worked on it so quick I forgot to take a picture of it before I finished it. So here's where I'm moving around things. I do want the title lower and then I can bring the pictures over more to the right. That way you give a little, it gives you a little bit of a plan to the left of it and kind of balances things out. And again, these are only my placeholders. They're not even mats. Well, unless I would trim down the photo, which I know I'm not going to. Um, they're really just placeholders. So that was the first one. Then the second one is going to be New Year's Eve. This is photo play. And I haven't used this very much. I have a lot of it left. I think I've made 2 layouts of it, but there could be more. So again, I'm just going to take the pieces out, the scraps, and kind of see what that looks like before I decide on a design. The one you can see there, the paper you could see with the clock, um, that is from a different collection, or it was from a paper pad, really. So I start off with a background paper of black. You can see that yellow gold on the top is actually champagne bubbles. And I've got these pieces that I'm working with. Well, then I decide I'm going to go to white. And I'm really trying to figure out how to layer those two up. I like the way that they're sitting right now. And then I play around with that white piece because I really like the squiggles that you see. It's like a squiggle confetti, but yet it kind of disappears in the white. So I do play with that a little bit before I get settled on how that's going to go. Here I have one picture and I'm trying to figure out, and again, I do have a picture in mind now with base pages. I think I said this before. Normally you're just putting scraps together and then you'll find your pictures later, but I do have pictures in mind for this. There is a couple reasons to do base pages. One, you can use your scraps. Two, if you don't have a lot of time for scrapbooking, you just put these base pages together and then you can more scrapbook it, how I like to say it, when you have time. So you can add the embellishments and the pictures then. My brain works so much like I need to know the papers that are going with the picture that oftentimes, not always, I will have a picture in mind when I do my base page. So I'm back to the other side, the firework side of that paper, because I didn't like the way the white was just kind of disappearing. And I will bring in another paper because I'm really struggling with this, the way it's all layering. I did bring in that striped paper that I'm just kind of putting behind the photo mat. And again, this photo mat isn't really a mat. It's kind of a placeholder for the picture. Unless I would trim the picture down, which then it could totally be a mat, but the mat itself is 4 by 6. Now that I've got it all where I like it, I hang on to everything. It usually scoots a little bit, but I will get adhesive on it and then make sure it's scooted back to where it's supposed to be before I glue everything down. So I do move that out of the way to make sure I can get these um, background pieces taped down. And then I really like this Fiskars mat because it's got the grid on it, and then I can get things somewhat lined up just watching the grids on the back. Um, it helps with getting things level without having to take out another ruler, which I really like. I don't bring these to crops. I do bring my rulers to crops. There's not often enough space for me to have my whole mat there. I do have a little close to my heart that's a 12 by 12 that I do like to use at crops actually, and you can't get a hold of those anymore. I only have one. Be nice to have two for a 2-page layout. All right, so that was the second one. That was the New Year's Eve one. And the third one is it's going to be more of a concert type rock band layout. And so I'm looking at a couple different pieces. I know I have purple in these picture I'm sorry, in the papers that I pull out. So I try this background first. It does I do not use that background. It's not the same purple. I I think I like it and I think I could do a different page with it, but that's not working for me right now. And so quickly I will decide I'm going to put it on a yeah, I look at the other side too. Not any better. Here I am with black cardstock 12 by 12, and I like that a lot better. I do go off camera to distress the sides of the papers of both of them. And I distress the one, oh, maybe both of the edges as well on the left side of the two pieces of paper. So again, then I'll layer those the way I like them and then adhere them down. The mats are again 4 by 6, so the same size as the photo, so it kind of gives me an idea where I was thinking of placing the photos. Those aren't usually tacked down, the photo mats aren't tacked down those well, so that it like if it came to it and I had to, if I wanted to put a different picture on there, different picture configuration, that it would be easy to pull those up and move them around. So there I'm just trimming off again with my scissors because I like it so much. Here is a scrap paper I'm using. Um, that I'm just, to use it up, I'll use it for these photo mats. I know a photo is going to go over the top completely. There's that one. And I think this is the last one. This one is going to be not a summer one, but we went to Florida page. So again, with pictures in mind, there's the pictures. You get a sneak peek at the pictures, but I will have photo mats. So I lay down, oh, you might recognize this if you're a close to my heart person. I have a lot of these pieces left because I had a whole pack of both of those different pattern papers so that I could do a class with them. And they are kind of beachy, but I bet you could use them for something completely different in that, it kind of looks like sand, but it's brown, right? So you could use it for anything. But this one is a Florida thing. And so I grab these um, tags and I'm going to trim 3 of them out. I'm looking to see if I have the name of them. I don't think I do. It should be Simple Stories Retro Summer tag elements. Um, and I just and I know they don't match perfectly and there's no pink in my paper, but that's where you could bring it in with some embellishments. It's the wrong color blue. I am not super worried. I think between my pictures and the embellishments, it'll all come together. So I'm not too worried. Now, normally I wouldn't put the tags on because that would be a part for later. But since I had them right there and I thought it was a good idea, I decided to adhere them down. And I do have space. I'm going to layer them right up on top of that photo a little bit, but I do leave, there's totally enough room to sneak that picture underneath on top of that placeholder. I do bring in the other pattern paper to put on the top and the bottom. And here I am going, oh, it's not in the center because I'm looking at my grid on the mat. And so I'm lining that up. Um, is it perfect? Absolutely not. But I don't usually gravitate towards perfect. Close enough is good for me. And again, when it's down, I'm holding it down with one hand and then I'm going to scoot the ATG adhesive underneath. I try sometimes to use the ATG gun with my left hand. It doesn't usually work so well for me. I'm just right-handed, guys. It can be used left-handed, most definitely. But since I'm such a right-handed person, it's difficult for me to coordinate it. So, oh, this is the back side of these papers. So I get a little bit of that tan color edging the outside papers. And I'll do the same thing to glue them down, hold them in place, and sneak the ATG underneath there. And I'll do the same thing on the top. And this will be the last of the group that I do for this month. I'd like to do more base pages. I just don't have the time. And I know I mentioned in a previous video I'm having back issues. My back is so much better. I can sit in my scrapbook chair again. So um, I'm leaps and bounds better than I was at Christmas. And I'm ready to do a lot of scrapbooking. So um, yeah, that's why you haven't seen many videos from me over the last week, but I'm back at it. And I have I'm participating in a couple of haps, so be watching for those because those are always fun to see everybody else everybody's different takes on the same prompt or sketch. So back to getting these tags down, and I'm not going to put any ribbon or string in it. That is something that I will do as a finishing piece and do that later. I really wanted to see those stripes, so I'm trying to be creative with getting these down and still seeing the stripes. And I think what I end up doing is moving it. There you go, move it down so that those stripes are still seen on top. And once I like those, I will do the same thing and get my ATG adhesive out and hold the bunch down and stick it under, kind of one at a time there so that see, they always move on me. I know it, but it's a lot better than picking it up and saying, how did that go? How did I have it? What way was that? There we are. All right, so that is it. I will show the three of the base pages at the end here. Be watching for those finished videos. And I want to thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I hope you have a fabulous day and please come back and see me again soon.